let's talk about Florida. This one, I think, is unanimously. I've never in my time watching college football, which is probably more limited than some of our viewers in the comments. This is the toughest schedule that I've ever seen on paper. On paper. Can you think of another one that you've ever seen? I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, you can look at the graph and you can see the schedule, right? I mean, if you're listening on Spotify, I can roll it off for you. Their out of conference includes Miami, Florida State, and UCF already. Miami, they'll be a top 25 power rated team. Florida State will be a top 25 power rated team. And UCF is on the rise, man. They're on the rise. They're a good football club right there. They're a good football program. And they've been recruiting well. Gus Malzahn is just a tough guy to scheme around, dude. Like you can always drop one to Gus Malzahn, right? And then to boot in conference, ready for this stretch right here. After your week 9 bye, right? And that's your last bye of the season. You play Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. Ole Miss will be a top 10 team preseason. LSU probably won't be top 10, but they'll be a good football team, rated wise. I'm not sure how improved their defense will be, but they'll be a good football team. Texas, and that game's on the road. And then Florida State, and that game's on the road. That's in Tallahassee. And Georgia, of course, greatest or largest outdoor cocktail party. That'll be in Jacksonville. Just brutal. And to boot, you got to play Texas A&M. Your other conference games are at Tennessee. You got to play Texas A&M, who it could be a good football team this year. We'll see how Mike Elko does in his first year, but it'll certainly be a talented team, and you're gonna play them early, right? That's a team that you don't want to play early, because that defensive line could potentially rough you up. You want to you want to try to avoid injuries early in the season. And then Kentucky, of course, we haven't beaten like the last 3 years. I mean, I, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Now you get a bye right before that last stretch.
You better
But
use
still,
it. You better
you
use it.
better use it, man. You better use it. So we'll see if Graham Mertz dies. That'll be something to monitor. Like, can he survive this? And then imagine this, okay? DJ Lagway is special, man. He is a special football player, and I think that he will be really, really successful in college football in his future. But could you imagine if Graham Mertz gets hurt and you throw a true freshman into the fire against the schedule? Especially because the schedule is tougher down the stretch, right? So Graham Mertz goes down, he gets hurt, and down the stretch, you're asking DJ Lagway to I mean, it'll be a good test for him for sure. But you brought up this point earlier, like off air. Like, what does Billy Napier have to do to not get fired?
To me, if he goes 6-6 with this schedule, that man needs an extension. That man
Yes,
needs an
yes,
extension. That
yes.
would
With the
be
way that he's recruiting,
unbelievable. That to me, you're going to be favored in maybe 4 games. I don't know if you're going to be favored against Kentucky. Don't know how they're going to be this year yet, right? And you still have to go. One of those games is at Mississippi State, right? And one of them is Gus Malzahn. Okay, so that means you have to make up 2 wins against Miami and Cam Ward, Texas A&M and the new looked Mike Elko team, at Tennessee, Georgia neutral site, at Texas, LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, at Florida State. You can't tell me you get to that bye week. Yes, you get to the bye week. Finally, you made it there. You're probably 3-4, right? 4-3, best case scenario. And then you have to win 2 more games against Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss. I don't see it happening. I really don't. And I'm not going to bet it this early. Nobody knows what's going to happen with injuries. I'm not going to take an under this early. Um, I don't think yet, but
no, you
five
can't
and a
take
half.
over unders this early. You could take Heisman futures though.
Yeah, sure. But
Shout out Garrett Green.
shout out Garrett Crane, and I actually do like what Florida's doing. I think they're improving. I think their coaching staff got better. I can't tell you like poor Billy Napier, right? Like he probably what is he gonna do? Like 7-5 would be a miracle. That means you beat everybody that you're supposed like that means you upset 3-4 teams maybe. And like that is just incredible. And for Florida, right? Like, yeah, I just look at their administration. I can see Billy Napier just being so frustrated in a proven year. They circled this year, 2024. We get our guys in. We change the coaching staff. blah, blah, blah. We get the administration running, all in line, all this good stuff. He works so hard to get it running. And then he looks at the schedule. Is like, holy shit. My administration a couple years ago scheduled Miami and UCF and Florida State out of conference, not knowing that Texas was going to join their schedule, not knowing the divisions were going to shake up. So they were going to add Kentucky and Tennessee as their crossover games. I mean, it's brutal. The only team that you're missing is Bama, and this is Bama's down year, right? And this is the year you want to play Bama. So I mean, our Gator fans, right? Let us know in the comments. First of all, subscribe and like. We're not done talking about you guys this offseason, but let us know, like, what saves Billy Napier's job? What's 6-6? To me, 6-6. If I was a booster, if I was the administrator, and I see 6-6, I see incredible progress being had. I see competition. I see winning close games, upsetting teams you're not supposed to. But I don't know if that cuts it at Florida, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't, right? It shouldn't.
Yeah,
But
I don't
this
think it
schedule
cuts it for
feels like it.
fans. Like I would imagine the fans in the comment section would say 6-6 is not acceptable. And you know, if you're a Florida fan, that team is talented. Like as a Florida fan, it's not crazy to expect your team to win 7 games. Like for me, as an outsider perspective, I would say that that is a major success, just given the schedule. And then that's something to build on too. Like, it, I mean, yeah. So
Hmm.
this is great. Florida is 32nd in the country in returning production. I think offensively, they're going to have a pretty solid team. Now they don't have Travis Etienne, and they don't have
Ricky
Ricky
Pearsall.
Pearsall, who's very good, but Eugene Wilson is a stud. I think that offensive line will be fine as far as I know. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, and there should be panic mode on that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very easy to get caught up in what Florida did last year too, to like because it's like relative. Like schedules are all relative based on like how good a team actually is. So it's very easy to look at Florida last year and say like, okay, by God, this is an absolute gauntlet schedule. Like, say you get like a 25% increase on like the talent on the team and the production on the field, like you could still only win 5 games, even if you play more like significantly better than you did last year, you could still only win 5 or 6 games because of how brutal the schedule is. Games you got to win: Samford, Mississippi State, UCF. I mean, those 3 games you have to win. You have
I
to
throw
win
I throw Kentucky,
at home, yeah.
one of Kentucky or Tennessee, right?
Or else
And then
I'd say Kentucky or LSU.
okay, and then one of Texas A&M and Miami, right? That puts you at 5 right now, and then you can steal one from somebody. That's your that's 6 wins for you. And
I actually think Florida can beat Florida State. I think they actually will. Is that a hot take?
on the road though, no, not at all. And but by the way, like that's week 14, Florida State, who didn't have to go through this schedule, and is I'd
That's
probably pretty
true.
healthy and pretty deep, low key because they're deeper now than they have been, even though not top end talent, but. I feel pretty good about Florida State to get to this game healthy and ready to go. DJU, 14 weeks in the system. Regardless, yes, they can for sure beat Florida State, but again, you're gonna have to steal some games that you're not going to be favored in, and unfortunately, that's the sad reality of Florida football right now. And it's not even their fault. Like they're getting better. Like they're probably going to be a top 20 power rated football team, which I know isn't, Urban Meyer standards, but it's also pretty damn good compared to what they have been. And you get this stuck with the schedule, and it sucks.